Afternoon, everyone. This is something of a preview of the Everton game, but more looking at wider topics that are affecting the club at the moment. At Man United, we're used to rumour. It's part and parcel of supporting the club. Um, and if rumours are to be believed, I have huge concerns about the Ineos project moving forward. I'm concerned that the names that are being spoken about to replace Eric Ten Hag. I'm concerned about the fact that it looks like we're going to let go of Casemiro and Varane but keep Rashford. I'm concerned there's not going to be much movement in the summer, nowhere near as much as we need. But all of that is based on rumour and conjecture, so I'm trying to reserve judgment on it. Because let's be honest, the two of the people that are going to be main players in whether or not all those rumours happen are Emma Barada and Dan Ashworth, and neither of them are officially through the door yet. One thing that is indisputable is that Dan Ashworth hasn't. We don't even have a start time for him, and I'm concerned not only because of the impact that he's going to have, but also maybe what it says about Ineos moving forward. Because words are cheap and actions speak louder than words. Yesterday, James Ducker was on Stretford Paddock, and he said that he thinks that when Newcastle get their own sporting director, they won't want to be paying two salaries, so therefore there'll be a compromise and we'll sort it out. But his take on it was it'll probably be done by the summer, and United would be happy with that. The United Stand this morning are covering a report that suggested that even if we pay the compensation, he's not going to be free until Christmas. But even if he becomes our sporting director in the summer, that's the summer gone, because he hasn't been involved in the preparation for the summer, which he needs to be involved in now. We haven't got time to waste. There seems to be a bit of a blasé kind of attitude around it, like the reporters that are reporting it, the fan channels are a bit like, oh well, it'll happen when it happens. It'll, as if United have got another transfer window to waste. I'm bored to the back teeth of every single summer hearing this is our biggest summer for 10 years. This is our biggest summer 10 years. This is our biggest summer over and over again, and nothing ever ends up happening. Now this is supposed to be a new start, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, don't forget, said that he sees us competing, whatever that means, in 2 or 3 years' time. Well, that's based on your activity in transfer windows, the summer transfer window in particular. And one of those is going to be gone without one of the main people that you brought in to achieve the goal of being competitive within 2 or 3 years. It can't happen. You can't just let time dwindle away. We are light years behind being an even semi-competent football club. Forget being behind Liverpool, City, Arsenal. Forget anyone else. Don't compare ourselves to anyone else. Compare ourselves to what we want for ourselves. We are light years away from that. And the way that people are talking and the way that it's being suggested it's going to play out is that, yeah, well, we've waited for this long. We may as well wait a bit longer to get the right person through the door. It's really concerning. And I have to say, and I'm reluctant to say it because then it's very negative, there's echoes of the Glazers here, because they procrastinate, they drag things out, they don't get things done efficiently, and it does beg the question: why have you gone for a sporting director that's going to cost you a lot in compensation and possibly won't be available until next year, or Christmas, or even the summer? Why would you do that? Go and get someone who's already available or that you can pull out of a club and get quickly. Dan Ashworth, I agree, is the best person for Manchester United, but you have to equalise that with the time frame that we've got. We do not have time to waste. This club is a complete and utter mess, and we have to get everything right to move forward in the direction that we're supposed to be moving in. It's a huge concern for me. If you look at why this is even more pressing than it perhaps should be, again, you don't have to look too far. It's the Glazers, because there's no question in my mind that when they announced in November 2022 that they were looking at strategic alternatives, they'd already spoken to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. They knew absolutely good and well what his intentions were. He said it in the September of that year. He predicted exactly what's happened in September of 2022 or August. He said, if we'd like to have a go at it, we'd like to have a slice of the pie. These aren't my exact words, but we'd like to have a slice of the pie with a view to then maybe taking full ownership at some point. Or one of his representatives said that, and that's exactly what seems to be happening. So they have, without a doubt, been in conversation probably since September 2022. So from November 2022, it took nearly 18 months to agree a 25% stake in a club. So that's nearly double the amount of time it takes to do a full takeover, which is normally 9 months, according to Ben Jacobs, who's a relative expert in this type of thing. So they have dragged their feet purely because of greed. Maybe because of incompetence, maybe because of indecisiveness and not being able to agree on what they wanted, but ultimately it's because they were trying to root out a multi-billionaire who was going to pay stupid money like 8 billion or something like that for United, and it didn't materialise, and they hung on and they hung on and they hung on, and they've gone for what was probably right in front of them from September 2022. So because of that, we've wasted another summer, last summer, which should have all been done and dusted by then. And now this summer is in jeopardy. It's just, how far behind do we have to get? We're supposed to be Manchester United. The club is an absolute joke. And it's been so neglected that I've said before, what's coming in an ideal world, what's coming in with the money that Ineos have got available is nowhere near enough to make up the gap that we've got. That's with everything ticking along as we would want. So we do not have any wriggle room whatsoever to say, oh, but if we don't get all our ducks lined up this summer in a row, it's fine. We'll get it the next summer. We'll catch you next summer. No, it's not good enough. We need to do it now. It needs to happen now. And as I say, it's an odd one that they would go for somebody who's not available. So the United stand was saying, oh, well, it's going to be Murta this summer then. Murta can piss off. It can't be John Murta. So Omar Barada, by all accounts, was quite heavily involved in recruitment at City. He's going to have to take the reins. He's going to have to do it this summer. He's going to have to use his contacts. He's going to have to take over that part of it, because John Murta can't be involved. What an absolute fucking joke if he's involved moving forward. 2 years ago, Ralph Rangnick told everybody what needed to happen, and it's not even started. Nowhere near started. And I'm very concerned that it won't happen this summer either. This team needs gutting. Someone's got to be brave, courageous, ruthless, proactive, and prompt. And waiting for a sporting director until Christmas or even June is not any of those things. It's madness, as far as I'm concerned. Absolute madness. Moving on to the Everton game, almost a footnote really today, to be honest. I genuinely couldn't tell you what's going to happen in the Everton game. My suspicion is I think we'll struggle. But then I wouldn't be overly surprised if we just put together a superb performance and end up winning 2 or 3-0. I'm not sitting on the fence, I just genuinely, I'm not sure. I think the way that Everton play is difficult for us. We'll find it very difficult to break them down. We have limited options up front. We have no balance to the team at the moment. I can see it being a similar sort of game to the Nottingham Forest Cup game, where it's a bit of a war of attrition and hopefully we just nick a goal. But I can see Everton getting something out of the game. Rasmus, I don't think is fit, which is a big blow. But I'd rather him not play if he's not fit. Everton are always awkward. No matter where they are in the table, they come to us and seem to put in a relatively decent showing. And apart from Sheffield United, I don't think there's any Premier League teams that you can take for granted that you're going to get a result against, but you certainly can't against Everton. And Sean Dyche is notorious for just getting his team to set up and be very, very difficult to break down. So I think it could be a hard watch if you're watching it. And I said before, we haven't got any wriggle room. In general, we haven't got any wriggle room to drop points now. The season's effectively is over in the league, I think, anyway, unfortunately. But we need to win the next 4 or 5 games, I'd say, to really kind of put ourselves in the conversation for top 5 or 4. It's not going to happen, but that's what needs to happen. The summer really concerns me, and it's a summer where there's a Euros. We potentially could have a change of manager, and to not have the main person that you want in situ is, for me, is a bit of a disaster, and raises questions about how promptly this is moving forward, because it's not moving promptly, and why we've gone for him in the first place. I don't particularly understand it. So, let's hope Berardi's a genius and has a lot of contacts that he can use to get us some decent players in, because we're going to need it. Glazers out.